Well, hello everybody. My name is Jens Kruger, and I'm here and I'm talking about Deering banjos today, all day, with all these different models. But this one here is very special. I mean, all these models are special, but this is a very special one because this one was designed by the Deering Banjo Company in collaboration with John Hartford. And John Hartford had this idea. He wanted a banjo that's lighter because, you know, he was tap dancing, he was doing all kinds of things, and he wanted a lighter banjo. And he came up with this tone ring. The tone ring is the part that sits on top of the wood rim, right underneath the head. And that part sort of helps the banjo to have greater sustain and have a different, you know, focus and tone. And he wanted this wood to be very, very hard, harder than the maple that sits underneath. So he was choosing a wood that's a Granadillo. And is it right? Granadillo? Right? Granadillo. Yeah, that's Granadillo. And Granadillo is used for, you know, xylophones and marimbas and, you know, instruments like that, because it's a very vibrant, very hard, very dense wood. And so it's put in pieces glued together and then turned and made this special wood rim that sits on top of this, of the shell, and gives this banjo really a deep, deep, nice tone. But the advantage of being very, very light. So that was John Hartford's doing, actually. And he was very successful with this banjo. I remember a few years ago, I was playing a festival with Uwe and Joel, you know, we're playing up in Chattanooga. And there was a band playing before us, and I couldn't really recognize who that was, but it was a great band. It played really fantastic. And I was really taken by the sound of the banjo. And I really wanted to find out, wow, what banjo is that? So I walked backstage, and when they came off the stage, well, he had a John Hartford model. And it was the last thing I actually expected to see coming from stage, because it sounded so crisp and it sounded so fresh and yet had so much warmth, especially in the band. So this instrument really shines in a band. It has an amazing translation of sound, of how it actually comes about. In the other videos, you know, I talk about banjos. I always talk how quickly a sound actually appears and the transience of. And you see this banjo is you just strike the string and the tone is fully developed. It just takes a millisecond. It's right there. It's just first virus, yonk, just out. So when you even play lightly with a guitar, so if you would play really lightly with a guitar, you could hear every individual note. Because it's so light, it reacts so quick. So this is really astounding. I also heard this banjo with thick strings and very, very thin strings, as thin as nines, and it still didn't lose its density of tone. The nice thing also is, because it doesn't have a very stiff tone ring, if you move the neck a little bit, it's easier to move than with if a pot that's stiffer. So if you want to modulate the tone a little bit, it really does it super well, right? And because it's so fast and so light, it can really explode with sound. You can hear that, huh? It's a phenomenal banjo, and you know, you should check it out. I mean, the whole banjo is maple. Everything else is maple. And I think John Hartford also used this banjo by putting, you know, thicker strings on it and tuning it way down with this tone ring, which sounds also fantastic. All the banjos, of course, they come with the Smiley Bridge, which is the Smiley Bridge is curved underneath. You know, the feet are cut so they actually follow the contour of the head when there's pressure on the head, and that helps the bridge to stay straight on top. You know, you see sometimes I've seen many banjos in stores that hang there for a while. You see the bridge was sagging in on top, and I thought, well, we need to fix that. So we came up with a bridge that has the rounding already built in the bottom, and to our surprise, it sounded a lot better because the outer feet of the bridge really, you know, sort of were not all the strain was just on the outer feet. It was on the you know, everywhere in the bridge, and so it was all more just relaxed. Wow, I have to get used to these inlays. I got Janet sitting here. Janet, did John come up with this design, or?
Yes, he liked the old Farlands and had the inlays pattern like that, 3 spots.
Okay, yeah. So John really came up. So if you get one of the banjos, see one of these banjos, you can really see there's history in here, and I'm very glad that the Deering Banjo Company is still continuing making this amazing instrument. So go check it out. It's really cool.
Hey, Vic.
Hey, that was a fun little cameo when you came in.
Did I walk into your
Yes.